We have at Las Positas College a long history of a strong partnership with universities within the University of California system, California State University system, as well as our local private universities. Set up a transfer program involves a great deal of communication of what expectations are among our students and between us and our students, and between us and the university. We serve as kind of a way to bridge the gap there. Some of the groundwork that occurs is developing what are called articulation agreements with the universities. And articulation agreements basically cover which courses from Las Positas transfer to as equivalent to courses that are offered at the freshman and sophomore level of a university. How that occurs is we have our faculty propose courses for transfer. We have an articulation officer who, her name is Andrea Alvarado. She's also a counselor here. And she works closely with someone in her equivalent role at a university to determine if the content of the courses is sufficiently comparable in order to transfer as considered equivalent at the university. So for example, she may work with a counterpart at UC Berkeley who, for a course, let's say in psychology, that we offer, will UC Berkeley accept that as equivalent to their Introduction to Psychology course. There'll be discussions, faculty on both campuses review that, and the process is facilitated. And once it's decided that yes, it is, it's published in an online resource called Assist, which is accessible to anyone, www.assist.org, who can look up these articulation agreements. Now, how those are useful for us in the overall picture of transfer is that having those agreements in place helps us guide students as to what they can take here at Las Positas that would cover the equivalent to the first 2 years of full-time study at a university, the first 2 years of a 4-year bachelor's degree program. I often hear stories from students talking about their experience applying to colleges and universities right out of high school and hearing about the 4.6 GPAs that are required to get into some of the best schools. And I just want to emphasize that for students who are transferring as juniors to schools like the University of California, like Berkeley, or any of the UC campuses, or any of the California State campuses, we have agreements with those schools where once they reach junior status, equivalent to completing those first 2 years at a community college, the requirements totally change. Students are given a different level of priority for transfer. Students from California community colleges are given higher priority for transfer for students than other universities. And the GPAs often surprise students. For example, a student with a 3.0 transferable GPA will make students eligible for admission to some of the best public universities that we have to offer. Students who want to go to the more competitive campuses, yes, the GPAs do go up. Berkeley will consider students in their largest undergraduate college as low as a 3.0 transferable GPA. Although both Berkeley and LA do still follow comprehensive admission. So they look at other things that students have done beyond GPA. They look at participation in extracurricular activities, which we have available here as well, looking at experience in the major and things like that. But I think my point is that it's very attainable for students to transfer from Las Positas. And at those GPAs, I do want to emphasize that students are well prepared for success at those schools as well. California community college students, and specifically those at Las Positas, do as well or better in terms of measurements of educational success after transfer as do students who started at the university. So for example, a student who starts at UC Berkeley or another UC is just as likely to complete the degree or to continue during future semesters as a student who transfers from Las Positas College and attends the university as a junior. So the success rates are comparable, sometimes higher for us actually, depending on the year, but they're very comparable. What that means is that a student who attends here and successfully transfers is well prepared overall to do well and succeed and move on to the next level and finish their degree. So those are some. And there's a lot of concern as a public institution, as a taxpayer-funded institution, about how well we help students transfer. And one way to measure that is a statistic known as transfer rate. Now, we hear the word transfer rate, but it can mean a number of different things. The definition that I prefer to use in terms of transfer rate is, first of all, are the students coming here with the intent to transfer? Second of all, then, are they ready to transfer? Because the transfer rate itself measures, do the students actually transfer? With regard to evaluating a community college, our role is to help them prepare to transfer, but whether or not they actually do transfer is something that is out of our control. So we actually, when talking about transfer rates, look at transfer readiness as a measure of, did the students take certain courses that they were required to take, such as English and math? How well did they do in those courses? Did they take the number of courses that they need in order to transfer as a junior? We put those into the mix in order to determine how effective we are at preparing students to transfer. And using that as a measure, our school here at Las Positas is effective. We're among the top 10 of 110 California community colleges in doing so. I could share from my own personal experience as a transfer success story. I went to my own community college. I wasn't ready to attend a university directly out of high school. I wanted to stay where I was, attend a community college, and maybe save up a little bit of money or work a little bit more. Those are some of the reasons that I went to a community college. I did a transfer admission guarantee and transferred to UC Davis successfully with a major in psychology. So I can tell you from personal experience that it does work.
There are many benefits to coming to a California community college. I mean, the financial value is really unique in the cost per unit of $26 a unit. You just don't find that anywhere actually across, even at community colleges across the country. It's really the best deal. And you have faculty, your faculty are really instructors. The majority, or I should say many of them, have doctorate degrees, really want to be in the classroom, and that may be one of the differences you find at some of the four-year institutions where they have teachers' aides actually teaching the courses. When I talk to faculty, why do you want to teach at a community college? They say, I want to work with students. I want to be in the classroom. I want to be working with them directly. They are very passionate about their subject material, so I think that's a real advantage too. The class size is much smaller than you would typically find at a four-year university, probably around 30 students in a class, so that's a great size, very conducive to individual attention and learning. So those are some of the key facets that I think are very important aspects. The community college is also a second opportunity for those, people mature at different points in their life. Some people feel much more focused in high school. Some may not be ready to figure out what they want to do till later. So no matter how well someone has done in high school, they can come to a community college and start fresh. It's their opportunity to say, at this point in my life, I wasn't quite sure, I needed to grow up a bit, I needed to mature, and now I'm really focused, I know what I want to do, and I can go to community college and I can start fresh. And it gives me that opportunity where I can go and do my freshman, sophomore year and not have to worry about what happened in high school, and now I can have the opportunity to go to UC Berkeley. I can set, my dreams can be limitless, and that's a beautiful aspect of the community college system.